Lubin did what Ortiz did what he's supposed to do. Lubin, I think he prepared well, and um, it just didn't go his way. Like I said, I think his punch resistance is not what it was, and that's not Ortiz's fault. Lubin was coming off a win. He was coming off some good performances against Jesus Ramos. Um, just the way the cookie crumbled, and Lubin, man, like I say, I'm worried about him. I didn't like the way he blanked out like that. Didn't seem like it was that hard of a shot, you know, and the way he blanked out, his reaction to that shot, it just kind of worries me a little bit about it. But other than that, I think Virgil Ortiz was expected to win the fight, but we all believed that Lubin was going to put up a valiant effort. That's what I think the people was believing, that Lubin was going to be able to put up a valiant effort, and Lord willing, I think he would have, but like I say, that punch was placed at the perfect position, and he blanked out, and the referee stopped it. So that's boxing.
Right. Right. Lots of people are saying, "Hey, is Lubin a shot fighter, or was that just a great shot that got landed onto him?" I mean, what you think? Do you feel like he should pursue continuing?
No, 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 no. I think he done had his chances at the title a couple times. He's took some. How grotesque he looked against Fandora. This shot right here was very damaging. The shot against Charlo was, that was scary, and so I don't think it's worth pursuing. Um, Trying to, you know, the championship doesn't. It looks bleak because I know that's the goal. Is the championship at the end of the day? The fighter wants to win the world championship, and I don't know if that's impossible in his future. And even at this point, I'm worried about the damage he's taken. And even if he was able to win the championship, would he be able to enjoy it in later years? So I'm worried. Is it worth going through any more damage in sparring and in fights to obtain a goal as being a world champion? What's more important, your health or winning a world championship? Because if you are a champion forever, but what kind of champion do you want to be? You want to be able to one that can display your belt, that can tell your stories. Not one that can't. You know, so I'm worried about that situation. And I like I say, I listened to Roy Jones. I mean, I listened to Andre Ward, and like he said, I think he put it best. He said, I think Lubin, he can do better in a different area of boxing. He can still be relevant, and I think his best days are meant to be somewhere else.
Right. Um, and then we got to see Jaron Boots Ennis at the end of the fight step in. Virgil say, "Hey, come here, Boots." What you thought about the face off? How sincere do you feel like that was? Or do you feel like this just needs more marination and they have some fights in between that could possibly make this a bigger fight? Possibly get
No,
that, the Ring Magazine belt, at least somebody fight Charlo. What do you think?
no, no, no. Well, first, the Ring Magazine ain't gonna be involved unless Fundora's involved. Ain't nobody can't
Mm.
fight for the Ring Magazine unless Fundora's involved. Um, I feel like the fight is marinated enough. Um, I was on the show last night with In the Ring with Christine and them, and I guess Virgil Ortiz's manager, he was trying to gear him around a fight with Earl Spence, but I guess to make money and to have an all Texas shootout. But like I said, I don't think that's in a manager's position. I understand what you're trying to get with the money, but they have not. They have moved him very well, and I think he's ready for Ryan Boots Ennis. Um, if they had the if anything, I would steer him towards Xander Zayas because I feel like Asa De La Hoya has a big platform. He has a big, has a lot of strings he can pull, and Robert Garcia and the whole like. I think that they can get that job done if they to fight Xander Zayas for the title.
But
That
but
would be
he's
my favorite.
unifying with a boss already in January in Puerto
Okay, so they
Rico.
still can. Okay, so they already didn't. So now they
Tickets
didn't.
go on sale on Friday, Bernie. They went in quick. They unified real quick.
Oh wow! So good on Top Rank. That was great. That was a great move on Top Rank and his management, for moving so fast because I didn't know what that kid was gonna do, but I figured that the winner out of Virgil Ortiz and Jaron should fight that guy, Abras. That's what I would take. I know those guys. That's a championship fight between them two, but the title is not on the line. And so I feel like with Boots being a world champion already, Virgil with the guys he's fought, he deserves a shot at the title. And I wouldn't stick him in there with Fandora and them just yet, or the IBF champ. I would try to go with the new this new guy who again, he doesn't have a big following, is not known. So that'd be a good way to either get his profile up and also get them a shot at the title. So man. Well, I think after this they should fight. The winner should fight whoever. Then the championships is locked up. Is you got Xander, Lord willing, he comes through. He have two portions of the title. You got Fandora got two portions of the title, and then no.
It's the
Fandora got the
WBC.
WBC.
That's it.
So who's the WBO champ?
Xander.
Okay, Xander's WBO. So he'll have two portions and the other two is just left over the IBF and the WBC in the WBC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I say, well, listen, ain't no need to hold these guys back. These guys they tested, and it's shot for the title. Whoever wins, either one. You can't go wrong with fighting Xander for two portions of the title if he comes through and his following is growing. And you can't go wrong with fighting Fandora, who's I mean, man, the Tower Inferno, man, that's a tough task, man. Damn. And they all tough. I mean, Virgil, the other kid, Xander is he's like the safest one, for real. He's like the safest one, and he's a good champion. So the 54 division is
And
tough,
nobody
man.
says the IBF champion's name. Is he the
No,
boogeyman?
because yes, that guy, yes. Now with the way he destroyed Tim Zoo, I mean, people was like worrying about this guy. Like you're not trying to go up there against this guy, but I feel like he could be more like Matthias was though. Matthias was the boogeyman, but Paro went there and beat him. He didn't dominate him, but he won the fight.
Yeah.
And he was in the fight. He wasn't blasted out. So, it's like, you might have to take your chance with that. So you never know what what I'm saying? Just because he looked like that against this guy, maybe not so much against you,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Um. So who would you favor in a Virgil Ortiz versus Jaron Boots in this fight if they was to match up?
I'm calling the 50-50 fight, but I'm going to lean towards Boots, slightly. I'm going to lean towards Boots, but I think that's the perfect storm. But I think that also that Virgil, man, Boots is going to be there to fight him. And so that might not bode so well in Boots' favor, but I, it's just a fight that we need to see. They should have fought at 47 to try to take the mantle over when Crawford dropped it, or however they should have been fought. But now I think it's the perfect time to fight. I don't think they should fight nobody else, and I think it's more on Boots to get this fight than anybody else because Boots then has perceived, to have a softer route. You know what I'm saying? His route has been is seen as softer, and so with uh, what's the kid's name? Ortiz fighting, Boachuk fighting Madrimov and a couple other guys else that he's fought now. Lubin, you know what I'm saying? He he's he really they should have structured him for the WBO title. That should have been his structure. He should have been boosting out Xander Zayas. That should have been a fight that they should have been making. Mexican versus Puerto Rico. They should have De La Hoya and them dropped the ball on that. If I can say that, they should have been shooting for this guy. After the Lubin fight, or even before the Lubin fight, they should have been shooting for Xander Zayas. Once Xander's got that title, De La Hoya and them should have hurry up and rush Xander Zayas for the title because they already had offered Boots somewhere in between, and Boots didn't want to take the fight. However, they should have rushed. They should have been keeping an eye on Xander. Once that title was Xander was even looking for the title, was in range for the title. They should have been looking to fight Xander for that title. But yeah, I
Yeah.
favor Ennis. But like I say, either one could come out, and it's just a fight to be made. Like I say, no fight, no Spence. Spence been off for 3 years. He's coming off a tough loss, and he's been out for 3 years. No, 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 no. That's not you. That's not giving him no substance, no credibility. And Virgil Ortiz has been, he's been on a trajectory for credibility. You could say that he arguably lost his fight against Boachuk or whatever it is, whatever. But he pulled through. He got his hand raised. It wasn't no flat out robbery. He's fighting seasoned guys, and he's earned his position. So I think Boots is the one. It's on Boots to fight somebody that think that not only has a name or potential elite abilities, but also got a heartbeat. So
So, I mean, you described those two styles, as the perfect storm. Why do you say
mhm.
that, Bernie? Why is it the perfect storm matchup?
Because Boots has the array of combinations and the speed. Virgil has, I would say, a good timing, and he has a good punch selection as well. But again, he's a come forward type of guy. He's a guy that's in your face. That's a boxer puncher, and I feel like Boots is a boxer puncher. But Boots is not going to get on his bike and move, like that. So he's going to stand and fight, and that's what's going to make it an entertaining fight. And with the way his punches is coming, the velocity, maybe he could surprise Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Maybe drop him, maybe stop him, maybe put him in trouble. So it's intriguing in that aspect. And then you got Virgil, like I'm saying, that's gonna be right there for you. Knows how to go to the body. You see he got them short shots. He hit you on the tempo. Short uppercuts. Hooks to the body. And I think he's taking a page out of Canelo's book where he's hitting your arms. He's doing so. It's just like the perfect fight. Perfect fight. Perfect fight.
When you hear Virgil's manager saying that, they want, or I don't know if I think it was his father or somebody saying 10 mil. Do you feel like that's overpricing it, or do you feel like Turkey Al Sheik needs to get involved for this fight to even happen due to those guys going one side saying they need that much money?
Well, yeah, that's too much. That's too much. I don't want to, but that's too much. I don't know what the going rate is right now, but that seems a little high. It's not even a championship fight. It's a championship caliber fight, but it's not a championship fight. And Virgil Ortiz has not proven himself to be a $10 million fighter. You know. Now if the Sheik want to get involved because it's a big buzz around that fight, and I really think the more buzz is around Boots, to be honest. I think Virgil has a steady following, but I think the buzz is really around Boots Ennis. He has the bigger buzz, in my opinion. And so, um, I guess if you're trying to say, like how Brian Norman was, they was figuring that if we fighting this ultra talented guy and we're giving up our chances, to lose, you know, which could set us back. We want the most money that we can get out of the situation. So, I don't knock them for trying that, but I think they trying to overprice themselves.